Good morning, guys. So today we are going to be trying out the new Cover FX Powered Play Matte Foundation. Powered Play Foundation, and I think it's a matte foundation. So this foundation's claims are it's a long wear coverage with a mattifying weightless finish. It also gives an airbrush matte finish, weightless formula with medium to full coverage, buildable coverage. It also says that you can use a brush, you can use a sponge, or you can use your fingers to apply this. As you know, I do not like to use fingers to apply any foundation. I don't like the way it feels on my fingers, nor do I like the way it looks on my face. I feel like it looks a little streaky, so I will be using a brush and a blender on either side of my face. I just got a sample. I bought some stuff at Sephora and was able to pick this up as a sample to give it a test out before I bought the full bottle. I got my color in N40, which is a neutral 40 color. It does say to shake the bottle. The bottle looks like it may match. On Sephora's website, they say they have 40 different colors and they range from cool, neutral to, you know, regular undertones. So they do have a variety of different colors to pick from. This has pretty good reviews on the Sephora website. It does say it's for combination and oily skin, and it is a matte finish, if I hadn't mentioned that already. And when you pick up the full product, you get 1.18 fluid ounces, and it is $44. Of course, I got this one for free, so I'm pretty excited about that. So let's go ahead and put it on. I've already put on my primers. I've set my face with the setting spray from Urban Decay, the primer setting spray. Then I've used a mattifying primer from Ulta. It's this one here. Let me show you. So I've also used a soft cover pore balm primer from Botanic Farms. So this is one that I showed in a recent unboxing. All right, so I've already shaked up this little bottle. It looks like I've got plenty to use up here. So it just looks like this. This is a tester that came in when you bought like $25 worth of stuff from Sephora. It does look like it is it's a little watery. So we'll start with that much on this side of the face. And let's see how this blends in the face. So this side we'll go ahead and use the sponge. And then the other side we'll go ahead and use the blender. So let me get close. I'm just going to use my Real Techniques sponge. Let's see how this blends in. And it doesn't look like I need to use a ton of it to get some coverage. This is a medium coverage about right now. So you can still see a little bit of redness popping through, but that's okay. I didn't use very much. I'll definitely try to build it and see what happens. Alright, so that's what that looks like. I think it goes in pretty nicely with the sponge. It doesn't seem to gather too much foundation on the sponge, which tends to happen every once in a while when you use certain sponges or use certain foundations. This sinks into the skin really, really nicely. It doesn't look like it's sitting on top of the skin when you apply it with the sponge. So let's go ahead and apply it with a brush on the other side. All right, and I'm just going to be using a brush from Real Techniques. It's just going to be their foundation brush from Real Techniques, and it's clean. So let's go ahead and try that. All right, so this is what the brush side looks like. And this is what the sponge side looks like. I think both sides would be better with a little bit more, just to cover up some of the redness that I have. So I am just gonna take a little bit more, not by much, and just kind of dot it in spots where I think I still have a little bit of redness. I don't have any color correctors on today or anything like that. So we're just gonna try to fill in the red spots that I have. It's not very much that I needed to use to do that with. So let's just take our blender and get that in there like that. All right, I feel like that looks better because I feel like it took away more of the redness, which I didn't need to use very much of this foundation in order to get my face to feel like it was covered enough where I would be comfortable. It doesn't feel cakey. I'm just gonna look real quick. It doesn't look cakey on the face. It seems to be sitting okay within my pores. On my nose, it doesn't look like it's pulling up in the pores of my nose or anything like that. And it blends right into the skin, and it looks like skin. So I'm pretty pleased with the way it looks right now. It looks like skin, which is what I want. Be right back to show you what the full face of makeup looks like with this on, and if it moves around or does anything funky. Alright guys, so I'll be right here back, is what the finished look looks like. This foundation is really, really nice. I don't feel like I can see my pores. It actually covers up really well. It does give me a medium coverage. I feel like I can definitely build it up without it looking too cakey. So I'm pretty impressed as of right now. When I put the foundation on, it was 9 o'clock in the morning. Now it is 10 o'clock in the morning. So the foundation itself has been on for an hour. I got busy and was talking on my phone with a friend, and I lost track of time. So now it is 10 o'clock and everything still looks really well. So it's been on for a little bit over an hour. As far as the foundation goes, the makeup went on super smoothly. I used concealer under my eyes after the fact, so everything, the concealer blended really nicely. I did use the Ulta color corrector, and then I did use the Naked Skin from Urban Decay after that, just under the eyes. And then I used the Pretty Vulgar blush and my Tarte Play for contour. And then I used the Soft Glam for my eyes today. We have a Soft Glam video coming up soon, but I just have a very neutral look going on today. So everything did go on really, really nicely. So I will set my face real quick with the setting spray. Let me do that real quick. And this is just the Urban Decay setting spray, which is something I do all the time with foundations. And then that's that. So I'm gonna go finish getting ready and finish my day, and I'll be back with a couple of check-ins to show you what it looks like at about 5 hours, and then again at 10 to 12 hours. So I'll be back in a little bit, guys. All right, guys, we are doing our first check-in. It is 2:10 in the afternoon, which means we have had this foundation on for 5 hours. So far, let's see. I am starting to get a little shiny in the forehead and a little shiny around this area here. Let me go ahead and pull you closer so you can see what I'm talking about here. So, in the pore area, my pores look a little enlarged right here. And then it's definitely gathering in the nose area. It's starting to fade away a little bit right here at the 5 hour mark, and in the forehead it's gathering in the creases a little bit. I don't particularly like the way it's sitting in my pores at this point. My pores just look visible, which I don't really like. I'm gonna take a little oil pad here and just kind of sweep away some of this oil and see if that does anything to help. Now remember, this foundation was $44 for the full bottle. So, all right, so here's what the pad looks like. A little bit of oils there. It does look better in the viewfinder at this point by taking away the oils. And at this point, if I look at my pores, it looks better in the pores. So this is one that you will have to get a really, really good mattifying primer to use with if you have oily skin, or you'll have to keep some pads with you to clear up the oils that build up. Otherwise your pores may look enlarged, which mine did at the 5 hour mark. So we're gonna go ahead and wear it for the rest of the day, see how it looks at the end of the day. Other than that, it looks okay. Like I said, it is kind of starting to fade away a little bit in this area, but other than that, it does look okay. So I'll come back in another 4 to 5 hours to show you what it looks like at the end of the day, and then at that point I'll give you my final decision on whether or not I think this is worth the $44. All right, guys, I'll see you in a little bit. We are here to do the final check-in. It is now 7:03 in the evening, which means we've had this foundation on for 10 hours. I threw my hair back and I'm ready to take off my makeup and start doing other things with my day. So I'm gonna go ahead and blot, because as you can see, I've definitely gotten oily, more oily than I was at the 5 hour mark. So let's see where this sits here. Definitely pretty oily here. Just in my T-zone, like always. I'm always oily in my T-zone, which is no surprise to me at all. All right, so now that I've taken off the excess oils that I have, you can see that the foundation still looks really, really nice from a distance. When you get up close, it definitely clings in the forehead a little bit while it's getting oily, but once you wipe away those oils with an oil pad or, you know, a oil sheet, you won't have the buildup anymore. I do have a little bit of buildup here on the sides of my nose, but I feel like if I would have took a brush at the beginning of the morning and really buffed that in there, I wouldn't have that issue with this foundation. So I think that I just need to do a little bit more maintenance as far as, like, you know, making sure the foundation is really, really sunk into my skin, as opposed to just slapping it on there with a beauty blender or a brush. I gotta buff in certain areas where I do have a little bit more creases, especially here on the nose, and then probably here in the forehead area where I have some pretty thick lines there. Other than that, the foundation has held up really well for 10 hours. I feel like it will continue to hold up for the rest of the night, as long as I'm not doing anything strenuous like running a mile or something like that. But I feel like it does really well. For me, this foundation reminds me a lot of the one from Fenty, which is the one that I really, really like. As far as price goes, I think the one from Fenty is about $45. This one is $44, so it just depends on which one you like most. If I was going to be buying the one from Cover FX, I would compare the ingredients between Fenty and the one from Cover FX to see which one has better ingredients for my face type, and then purchase either one or the other. But I like this foundation just as much as I like the Fenty one. This one just has a little bit more maintenance to it. So it didn't break up as much as I thought it was going to. Right here in the chin area, it started fading away, but I did eat earlier and I wiped my face without thinking about it, and so I probably wiped away a little bit of the foundation. But when I do this, the foundation does not come off on my fingers, which is good. Let me make sure. No, it does. It does come off because I just wiped it on my pants, and it does come off a little bit on my fingers. So that's something to be aware of. If you're leaning up against something, it may come off, and it does, like I said, it kind of cakes up just a little bit in the nose area where, you know, oil kind of builds and like sticks in those areas. So this foundation will build up and kind of look cakey in the areas where you get extra amounts of oil building up. But other than that, I think it's a great foundation. I would purchase it if I didn't already have the full bottle of Fenty. And like I said, I may go and check the ingredients compared to Fenty and the one from Cover FX to see which one has better ingredients. I may purchase one or the other just because of the ingredients in it. So that is my review. I think that this foundation looks really good right now. It's still, you know, holding up, and I had my husband look at it just to make sure. And like I said earlier, when you do get the oils, it does kind of look a little cakey and you can see my pores a little bit more, but once you take a oil paper and blot those away, you no longer see your pores. So this one may take a little bit more maintenance. And you know, the one with Fenty also does that as well. So they are kind of neck and neck for me. I think I like both of them. So if you did not like the Fenty foundation, you may not like this foundation, because they do perform the same way on my face as far as that goes. And I feel like the finish is really, really nice. It still looks really, really nice on my face. So I have really no complaints about this foundation at all, other than the fact that I do get a little bit more oily with this one than I do with the Fenty one. But I was asking my husband about it earlier, and I said, what do you think about the oils on my face? He goes, actually, I think it looks nice. It makes me look a little bit dewy and not over oily. He said that I don't look like I just sprayed myself with cooking spray. So that's good. He said that the shine that I was getting from from my oils coming through was a really nice shine, and it made me just look kind of youthful and dewy. So that's good. So that is my review. If you have any questions about this foundation, let me know. I will be happy to answer any more questions that you may have about it. Of course, I just got a sample, so this sample will probably last me a while because I didn't have to use very much of it to get this finish that I have. But for the most part, I think it's a great foundation, and I would recommend it if you're looking for a nice matte foundation. Alright guys, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I hope this helped you if anything, and if it did, if you do have any questions, make sure you put them down below in the descriptions, and I shall talk to you guys sometime within the week. Bye!